the BOOODANCHORME. Yeah, to his WORDBAPTIZED. And his GRACEANCHORME. Yeah, to the LMMB. Yeah.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Baptized and Clueless. I'm your host, Yusuf, along with my co-host, Michelle. Michelle, how are you doing today?
Wonderful. Hello.
Awesome, love to hear that. And again, with our co-host as well, Wesley. Wesley, how are you doing, my man?
Yeah, I'm doing all good, Yusuf.
Oh, good to hear that, man. Just to let everyone know, today's special guest is the one and only Wesley, who'll be telling us his testimony story.
Hmm.
And Wesley, I'm looking forward to hearing this because I've known you for a little while now, and I've
Yeah,
known you intricately enough to know you as a person. And funny enough, I can't say I've actually heard your full testimony story. So let
yeah,
me begin
yeah,
by asking you, Wesley, how did you come to know the Lord? What was it like in the beginning of your journey walk?
Yeah.
yeah. So, I grew up in a Christian household, and
Mm-hmm.
I was in church, all my life. Going to my parents' church, and just like any other kid, being forced to go to church and
Right.
not really, being involved in what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I enjoyed the church because I had other friends that were either cousins or
Mm-hmm.
family, like friends related to the family.
Right.
And so growing up in that church, I would always like play around with them. And they did have this program
Mm-hmm.
um called Awana. I don't know if any of our viewers may know it, but
Kalawana?
yeah, it's called Awana. It's like a
Okay.
child's program.
Okay.
Oh,
And
okay.
it's where you talk about God and just do kid related things
Mm-hmm.
um around the Bible. And
Okay.
so just doing that. And yeah, I mean, I would say that when I turned 19, that's when
Mm-hmm.
I officially, like, would say I officially got saved, and then ended up getting baptized, because like, just being able to grow up in that environment,
Yeah.
um I was able to like take it more seriously. Slow. It wasn't
Yeah.
like a big process, but it was
Right.
like a slow process.
Right. Shows the
Mhm.
importance of a family making that choice
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
how it can influence you in a positive way. That's good.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, so when you're 19, what was it that made you decide to do it at 19 as opposed to when you're 16?
Yeah. So during high school, um, I would say it wasn't nothing really much happened during my high school years. It was just me, just basically being a average teenager, just going with the flow.
Mm-hmm.
Just I knew about God, but I didn't really like put myself like to go deep into him.
Right.
And so what made me made that decision at 19 was, obviously I graduated. And once
Right.
I graduated, I did decide, like, okay, what's next for me? And so
Mm-hmm.
I just figured, you know what, I think it's that time. I think it's that time for me to, just accept the Lord and get baptized.
Okay.
But one thing I would say that I did leave out was the fact that um there was a moment when I was younger
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
where they did an altar call. And
Ah.
during
Okay.
that altar call, I felt like I felt it in my heart to like go up.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I did go up, obviously I'm there, you know, accepting the Lord. And all of a sudden I hear the guy that did the altar call, the preacher. He says,
Mm.
who is this guy? Like, well, he didn't say who is this guy, but he said, "Does does anyone know who this brother is?"
Oh wow.
Okay, that's a
And
big difference.
yeah,
About
that's a
how
big
many? So wrong.
Who is this
About
guy?
how many? About how many years before you got baptized did this happen?
I
This
would
altar call.
say, yeah, I would say it was in my preteens. It was
Okay.
somewhere in my preteens.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, and so you know, when I when I opened my eyes, I just see him pointing at me, and I'm like, oh man.
Oh my.
And my mom comes up and says, "Oh, I that's my son," and he starts to explain. He starts to explain to my mom and everyone else that God is working on me.
Wow.
Yeah, God is working on me.
That's
Um,
incredible.
he sees that he sees that I'm somewhat of a um, different, intelligent guy,
Hmm.
like,
Mm-hmm.
and so just hearing that in that moment, like
Mm.
hearing him say that God is working on me right now,
Wow.
It's
like
that encouraging.
yeah, and it was that moment that I ended up taking the Lord seriously a little bit,
Right.
but
Hmm.
of course, like I said, throughout my high school years, I went went about the flow, and it wasn't until after high school that I just said, okay, I think it's that time for me to get baptized.
So let me ask you,
Wow.
hearing someone of the church, the head of the church, say that more or less God's got his hand on you, did that
Mm.
just encouragement? Did that also add any pressure?
Um, Not at the moment.
Hmm.
You know, I just went about it, didn't think much about it.
Hmm.
I didn't think much about it. I didn't really know what he meant by
What he
that.
meant? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
you know. And but I know one thing. I know that after it, I was crying. I was crying,
Wow.
Mm.
It
and
impact. It
yeah,
impacted
it
you.
did. It did do an impact, and it did make me, think more about like trying to spend more time with God.
Well, that's good because
Yeah.
it's those sometimes those things can go both ways, where it's like someone could spin out
Mm-hmm.
thinking that's too much,
Yeah.
or someone could think they're the golden child and they got a golden ticket
That's true.
and keep
Yeah.
expecting big, large things to take place in their life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad. Well, knowing your personality, you wouldn't take that route.
Yeah.
Knowing you now, no, that wouldn't be you.
Yeah.
So, so at this time now, being 19,
Mm-hmm.
being 19, 20. So let me ask you then, at this current time or at that particular time, was there anyone else in your family that was saved?
Yes. My mom and my dad were
Hmm.
saved, and yeah, that's about it. My mom and my dad.
How many siblings do you have?
I got three. I got
Okay.
a younger sister and
Hmm.
two younger brothers.
Okay, okay. So you're the oldest one. Gotcha.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, yeah. At 19, then yeah, they'd be pretty young themselves. Okay,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that's understandable.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so after being baptized and saved, what was your being that you're in the church all this time as a kid growing up? I know it's different than you becoming older and understanding a little bit more, but was there anything that you thought you had to start doing right off the bat? Was there any misconceptions that you had?
Uh, I would say that I felt like I had to read the Bible more,
Had that
which is
changed
kind
it's a
of,
today?
good conviction. It's a good
yeah, that's a good
conviction.
conviction. But it like going back to what you said about pressure, Yusef.
Yeah,
Um, I would say it was that pressure I put on myself to. Oh,
yeah,
I gotta read
Mm.
this. I gotta read this. I gotta read it. Like the unnecessary pressure, basically.
right,
Right.
right.
And so,
Yeah, that's common.
yeah, and also just the pressure of um not doing the things that I used to do. Because
Mm.
um,
Hmm.
here's one thing I would say: I did get into you know, um, I did get into lust at a young age. You know,
Okay.
I was
Old.
exposed.
How old would you say?
I would say 12,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
All right.
yeah, and it's pretty weird how it happened
Mm-hmm.
because I don't remember how I was introduced to it.
Right.
You know,
Mm.
Mm.
all I remember is that once I got exposed to it, just like just like any other you know boy in their preteens,
Yeah.
once you get exposed
Right.
to it, you start exploring more of it, and then
Right.
once that happens, you're just hooked.
Because it piques your
Right.
curiosity, right?
Right, right.
Right.
And at that young age, you have no self control already as it is. We're adults and we hardly have any self control.
Oh
Well,
man,
more
yeah.
more often than not, actually, that's around the exact same age that many children
Mm-hmm.
who do get exposed are getting exposed at.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Case
yeah.
in point, right here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so, once I got exposed, I went, I think, a good few months of just being addicted until my parents caught me.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I.
yeah, my parents
Well,
caught
both of them
me.
or just one.
Uh, one of them caught me, and then told they both told each other.
Who
So
caught you? Your mom?
it was my dad.
Oh, you're so lucky.
Oh, thank good.
You're so lucky.
I'm a mother, and even if my kids had to go through that, I would hope that their father caught them.
Yeah. And so, once I got caught, it's crazy because once I got caught,
hmm
I went a while without watching it again.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
It was guilt. There was the
Mm.
level of guilt.
yeah, like I went my whole high school years without watching it.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
And it started back up in my early 20s.
Mm.
Mm.
And so,
So it was right after you got baptized, essentially.
not really. I
Okay.
did go a few years
Okay.
without after I got baptized. But I would say
Right.
this: after my baptism, you know, I did still live a life where it's like, kind of like my old life.
Slip
Right.
sliding. I get it.
Yeah, yeah. That's why Baptized and Clueless fits so perfectly
Mm.
because after I
hmm
got baptized, like I was just still going with the flow, living the way I wanted
Mm.
to live. You know.
Let me
A
ask
question
this.
for you. Even
Oh,
though
go ahead.
you got baptized, and you had a church life existing,
Mhm.
did you have a solid community around you to support you as you walked forward after baptism? Or would you say it's kind of like, okay, great, you got baptized and no one else is really standing there to stand in the gap for you?
Yeah, no, I didn't have no one.
Mm.
You know, like I would say the people in my church, I didn't want to go to them because
Mm.
they were much older.
hmm
Mm.
They were much older saints, and I didn't feel comfortable like sharing stuff with them. And
Right.
so I
Right.
just kept everything bottled inside and was like I was one of those people that was saying, it's just me and God.
Aw.
Yeah, so I
I
tried
could
to do things on my own.
I could imagine
Mm.
your parents felt like, job well done. Well, that's it. We did our
Yeah.
part.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty normal. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
as a parent, your child achieves something like, oh, well, I did my job and you're ready to go about your business, but that's when you need the more work,
Right.
right?
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, yeah. And I would say it was 2022. No, it was during the pandemic actually that
hmm
I finally found Transformation Church. Uh,
Right.
for those of you that don't know, it's a church that's in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And the pastor is Mike Todd, and he like just once I found him, because it was a while that my sister introduced me to him, but I didn't really like pay attention to it until like the pandemic.
hmm
that's when I actually like decided to be like, okay, let's watch him. And it was during relationship goals that it
Okay.
attracted me to him.
Right.
And so once I got, hooked on to him, I just started watching him. And it was actually during a sermon called The Compromise of Porn that actually made
Really?
me realize that, okay, I need community. Okay, I need real help.
Wow,
Mm-hmm.
that's
And
beautiful.
yeah, and so during 2022, um, I actually got into a group, and once I did that, that's
Pause.
when.
To
So in 2022, I officially got into a group, and once I did that, that changed my, I would say that changed the whole trajectory of my life
yeah.
because
Mm.
before then, I was kind of a shy kid. I didn't talk too much. I could talk to people on a one-on-one basis, but
Mm-hmm.
you know, like when it came to talking, to like having conversation, full grown conversation, like
Yeah.
couldn't do that.
In a group setting.
Yeah, in a group
No.
setting, and
I met you
so
the
Mm.
following year afterwards.
yeah, yeah, and so once I got into that group, it helped me learn vulnerability and helped
Mm-hmm.
me learn
Wow.
to just speak more, you know, because the group of guys that were there, they were also being vulnerable and they were
Mm.
also, being transparent about their lives. And it made me realize that, I'm not alone in this.
Right.
There's other people going through what I'm going through or have been going through what I'm going through right now. And
Yeah,
so
exactly.
it helped me open up more and it helped me to talk more. And so it's
Curiosity. Was that your first time being exposed to vulnerability from men?
yeah, it
Mm.
was um because other than them, I hadn't opened up about my life to much people that were close
Right.
to me. And
Mm-hmm.
so they were the first people that I actually was able to open up about my life, the struggles of my life.
Mm.
Because one thing I would say is that I had a certain, reputation towards my family. You know, I felt like they looked at me a certain way,
Mm.
like they looked at me as the person that's trying to have that relationship with God, the person
Mm.
that's taking God seriously. And so
Wow.
they only knew that side of me. They only knew the quiet
Well.
side of me,
Mm-hmm.
and so
Mm.
it wasn't until I got into the group that I was able to really show that other side of me that I always tried to keep in the dark.
Mm.
Mm.
So, being that you're in the group, I know you started in like 22. Um, how long do you think it took you to really get acclimated to the group and feel more open to be vulnerable and transparent?
I would say it did take me a good year. It did
Mm.
take me a good year to
Yeah.
get acclimated because
Yeah.
first I just had to like hear all the other brothers that had been in the group already for a while and
Mm-hmm.
really get to know them and their story and just be able to like feel comfortable in the group, feel comfortable speaking.
Yeah. And not worrying about being judged.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
No, I get that for sure. I do get
Hmm.
that for sure. So now that you've been walking with Christ for a while and you're getting to know yourself a little better as far as um how vulnerable you can be, the things you're struggling with, how's your relationship been with God as far as how you hear Him and how you talk to Him?
Yeah, so I would say it's still a work in progress,
Oh,
but
definitely.
it's you know it has gotten better over the years. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I've learned to really like I've learned practical ways to be able to just sit with him and be able to really know how he feels about me, because I think
Yeah.
that's what it is. I think that's the that's where God,
Identity.
yeah, I think that's where God really wanted to touch base with me first, is really
Right.
accepting who I am in him, you know,
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
fundamental piece,
Yeah. That's a huge piece, definitely.
yeah, because like, if I'm being honest, I realized that I always looked at myself as not enough. I always looked
Mm.
at myself as, oh, I don't deserve this. I always allowed the guilt and the shame to, you know, have a hold on me.
Yeah.
And I had that lack of identity. And
Yeah.
and
Right.
so being in this group, it helped me realize that that's what I needed to know. It's just that God loves me, because it's one thing, to read, oh, John 3:16, and for God so loved the world. Like, it's easy
Right.
to read that, but to really accept it, it's another thing. And I
Right.
had to really accept it, that yes, God really loves me. Yes, he
Mm.
knows what you've done, but he has already forgiven you. And I had to really accept that throughout the years. And now that I'm in a place where I know that,
Mm-hmm.
now it's like God, it can work on me and help me to figure out the purpose that he has for me.
Oh, that's
Mm.
awesome. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's exactly what we need, right? Um, so as we hear more people's testimony stories, it sounds like the one thing is exactly what we were talking about when we first came up with this podcast. Uh, People not recognizing just how much more community they need when they find
Yeah.
Christ,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it's the biggest thing that's lacking. And I'm not
Right.
sure why it is that way. I'm sure there's some churches doing great work, but so far, no one that we've come across has been
Right.
able to say that once they got baptized, once they got saved, they had mentoring, they had all the teaching, they had all the
Mm.
follow ups, they had the visits. Like no one can say that. And it's funny enough, if a kid says they like basketball, there's a ton of places for coaches.
Mm-hmm.
There's a ton
Right.
of places to go run rec ball. There's a ton of hoops in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
If they're serious about it, they can go get like um, a basketball trainer.
Mm-hmm.
They can go through
Right.
dribbling. Like they got all these things set up for all these things in the
Yeah.
world that are frivolous. And as the church, we don't have those things set in place in general.
Yeah.
Obviously, not specific
Yeah.
to every
You
church.
say we're saved, and they give you a pat on the back and have a good day.
Pretty much, and
For
expect you to
real.
show up
Yeah.
next Sunday.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I feel so transactional for some people. It's like, okay, I got
Right.
saved, and they just want me back in that seat and to drop something in the pan when it goes around.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right? And that's not what church is all about. But that's the impression people get when they first get in, because they're
Yeah.
expecting this life changing event to take place.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
And when they seek it to the church more so than with God, the illusion, right, starts to
Mm.
fade. The thing is that they need to learn it's not the church, it's God itself, but they're new. How would they know?
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I feel like the churches in general, not necessarily transformation, but
Hmm.
many churches, and the church I go to, I feel like we have quite a significant amount of programs to support people no matter what their walk is.
Yeah.
For me, even going through a divorce, there's actually a program called Divorce Care.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So it is a support network and things of that nature. But I feel like there's a resurgence that's happening
Hmm.
amongst Christians, especially younger Christians, because we were brought up in the church, and many of us might even have gotten baptized
Yeah.
quite early.
Mm.
And thank God there's that fire that's sitting inside of you, and then life starts to pull at you, and you're not getting the correct support. You don't have the right community around you. But when, I don't want to say we hit rock bottom, but when we really start to recognize where I'm at is not a good space,
Yeah.
Hmm.
all of a sudden it's like our heart, at some point, there's this light bulb that goes on internally. and we just
Yeah.
go, I need God. And we start
Yeah.
looking for the church again.
Mm-hmm.
But fortunately, fortunately and unfortunately, because we've gone through so much of the fire,
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
coming to the point where we're recognizing we need that community. And so we go back with a level of intentionality looking for that community. Hence
Yeah.
the reason why you found transformation. You found a support group within transformation. And
Mm-hmm.
would you say you've ever found any support groups outside of the church?
Um, yeah, I don't think so. Like that was the only group, that I made a decision. I'm gonna, be part of this group because the church, Transformation Church, they
Mm-hmm.
introduced their groups, and they've been introducing it for a while, and
Mm-hmm.
for the for most of the times that they were introducing it, I was like, I just bypassed it. But
Right.
you know, after I watched that sermon, the compromise of porn. After I watched that sermon, I really made that decision to
Mm.
like really go into that group.
Yeah.
What was the
It's
most impactful
it's
part
just
of that sermon that it like really just hit your heart and went, ouch?
Like
everything.
to be honest, like if I had to pinpoint, I couldn't pinpoint like an
Mm,
exact part, but I would say, after I know how I felt after
mm,
watching that sermon,
the feeling.
like I felt like real conviction, you know,
Good.
and I knew that in that moment I really needed help. Like I couldn't do this on my own.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm,
oh wait, to be honest, uh, one scene is coming to my mind right now. I think it
okay.
was a scene with a birthday cake.
Mm.
And Pastor Mike Todd, he was talking about how, like, when you take one lick of the birthday cake and you say, like, because a lot of us, we say, oh, we're just gonna do this one time. We're just gonna,
Right.
and so he took a lick of that birthday cake and was like, you know what, I'll take another one. And then
Right.
The first lick is where all sin begins for all of us.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And then he took another one, and then he's like, "Oh well." And then he dumped his whole face in the cake.
Yeah. He's so extra. He's so extra.
And so,
He's the best.
I remember that scene now. But yeah, that whole sermon just put into perspective that I can't do this walk alone. I can't try to overcome
Yeah.
this addiction alone.
Yeah.
Because I'm
Amen.
gonna keep
Amen.
failing at it. So that's what really made
Amen.
me get into that group, and that was the only group I was in.
See, though, it's like it's all about our yes.
Hmm.
Yeah.
He said yes
Yeah.
to getting saved. He said yes to stepping out and trusting God in a group to be vulnerable. And I mean, you stepping in a group is pretty much James 5:16, right? Confessing your sins to one another,
Yes, yes.
Mm,
right? At the end of the day, and Proverbs 27:17, iron sharpens iron.
Hmm. Yes,
mm,
And you know, at the end of the day, these are things that as a church they need to be able to focus on. It's great when they talk about men's retreats and whatnot, but let's face it, everyone's at different phases and different stages in their walk.
mm.
And I'm not saying the church is responsible for everyone's every step,
No. Yeah.
mm,
but sometimes when we see these glaring holes in churches or in communities, if we see it, we may be the ones that are meant to fix it
yeah.
or to be a part of the solution instead of being on the sideline.
Hmm. Hmm.
So if any of us see anyone who's a newcomer to Christ,
Mm,
we should definitely be trying to fill the gap as far as
yeah.
what they may need and to help be a bridge.
Yes, yeah.
And it's really important because this is where a lot of people get lost. They get baptized and they
Yeah.
walk
Mm,
far away from it
mm,
because it's too much. There's a lot of misunderstandings, a lot of misconceptions,
Right.
a lot of pressure they give to they add on themselves, and
yeah,
they're completely lost. And once you're lost, they just give up hope.
exactly.
Right.
And they burn out.
Oh, burnouts. Oh yeah, burnout. Burnout goes a long way. Burnout goes for those who are experienced as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
doing, but they don't know how to rest.
Yeah.
Like these are things that seasoned Christians can teach someone coming in.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
a lot of times, some people are too caught up being legalistics, right? They quote everything at you and they don't live it. They
Right.
don't explain it properly. They sound good and they sound smart though.
Mm.
Mm.
But you know, uh,
I
as
know.
let's go ahead.
No, I was thinking of something you just said, Wes. Um, I know from my own personal experiences when I feel like I've just gone through so much negative circumstances,
Mhm.
sometimes I want to question God, like, why me? I'm not a bad
Hmm.
person. Why me?
Yeah.
Um, did you ever feel like uh, um, angry with God or just like a negative feeling towards like, I'm a Christian, like this, it's not supposed to be me. I'm not supposed to be having these struggles.
Yeah. To be honest, I had to come to terms that there was a bit of anger towards God.
Yeah.
Before, you know, I was in denial of accepting it, and I didn't even know I had it. To be honest, you know,
Mm.
I just felt like it was the feelings I was feeling about myself was just sadness. But
Mm.
Mm,
you know, it took real evaluating myself to really come to terms that there was some anger towards God. Like, and the anger was unnecessary, to be honest. It was so
Mm.
unnecessary. It was like, it was like, I could only be angry at myself. But because
yeah.
I didn't want to be angry at myself, I put the blame on
Hmm.
God.
Mm.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
That's real.
And so there was anger there, but it was unnecessary anger. Like, it was an anger that was, I guess you could say, petty anger.
Mm.
Hmm.
And so,
How did that anger play out in real time, like for you?
um, I would say maybe, yeah, I don't really know how it would play out in my real time, but I would say that it made me feel more bad about myself.
Mm.
And because I would feel bad about myself, I would always go back into my old patterns.
Right.
Every time it felt like I'm taking one step forward,
Hmm.
um, I end up taking 5 steps back. That's how it
Mm.
always
Mm.
felt like. And so, I would say, yeah, I would say that.
That's unfortunately that's the normal thing, right? Whatever our issues may be, that's what amplifies itself
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
when
Mm-hmm.
we're trying to get this relationship with God going. Whatever our insecurities are, whatever our weaknesses are, they come to the surface, and those are the challenges.
Yeah.
Right.
But again, if it's explained to us that those are the challenges we leave at the foot of God,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
leave them for Jesus to take care of, and
Right.
focus on the things He wants us to focus on. He'll take care of those things. He'll weed them out. And whoever has not experienced that, you may think I'm talking hokey, but it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's complete truth. I have my own issues, and then my limitations were hit, and He took care of it because I focused on what I need to focus on, not on my
Mm.
problems, but on what He wanted me to do,
Mm-hmm.
how He
Right.
wanted me to be, and He took care of the stuff I couldn't take care of.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And
it's definitely a theme.
and I would also say this. This group has also helped me because as time has gone by, like I said before, it has helped me open up more. And it's like once I started opening up to the group, I started talking more, and I wasn't always waiting to be called on to to answer a question.
Hmm.
Mm.
I was being more you know talkative in the group,
Yeah,
and
I started speaking out a lot more.
yeah, and it led me to finally like take a leadership role in the group, which
Hmm.
I
Oh,
never
I love
thought
that.
which I never thought I would ever do.
Never.
I'm so proud of you. That makes me so excited to hear.
Thank you. Yeah, and so once I took that leadership role, of course, I have my slip ups still, but
Mm-hmm.
because I have guys around me that,
Yeah.
can still encourage me and let me know that we're not perfect.
Yeah.
We're gonna have those slip ups.
Mm-hmm.
Just, you know, keep going with it, and just know that, at the end of the day, we're not pastors, we're not therapists. We're just
Mm.
guys coming into the group and, opening up to each other. And, you know,
Exactly.
we all have leadership roles, but,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Right.
we all have to like be able to like just know that we're all here to grow. We're all here to
Exactly.
get better in Christ. And so once
Yeah.
I took that mindset, I was able to be more comfortable with it and just keep going with it. And so far, God has led me um, into it, and I could say that it's been, a few semesters, which I would say has been
Mm.
like a good year and a half that
Yeah.
I've been that in that leadership role, and I couldn't have done it without the Holy Spirit's help.
Right.
Definitely. Definitely. Well, you see, you had to say yes yet again. That's the third time I can point out you had to say yes.
Yeah.
Right? God
What?
doesn't force us to nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh,
Hmm.
would you say in your whatever, whether it be your support circles or anywhere, would you say that sharing your testimony has had impact? Have you seen others impacted in a positive way from your sharing of your testimony? Because I just feel like what you have done for yourself is so powerful. We need so many more leaders. And I use that term loosely because it's not a formal role. Being a leader is not necessarily a formal
Mm-hmm.
appointed role.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It's just something that you've owned because you've overcome in any particular area, and you have something to share forward to others.
Hmm. Hmm.
Has your testimony, have you seen it support or impact anyone else?
Yes. You know, I never thought that my story would, but I've had
Mm.
guys who have come up to me like and said like they love what I said in the meetings, and
Wow.
how they relate to what I was saying, and how it has made them, you know, reflect on their own lives and
Mm-hmm.
remember the time that they used to be in that situation.
Yeah.
And like it has impacted them to be like, okay, you know Wesley is, overcoming this. He's doing the work, and it reminds them that they have to keep doing the work as well.
Right.
Mm.
Leading by example.
Yeah.
I'll say three things about you, Wesley. Um, your level of empathy, your vulnerability, and your transparency are the three characteristics about you that always stand out.
Yeah.
Mm.
And when you were quiet and you weren't talking as much, no one would know that about you.
Hmm.
And those are the things the enemy wants to bank on, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Because everyone has something to offer, because
Mm.
God made everyone individually unique. We may have similar traits, but it's going to be pulled off and done differently.
Yeah. Yeah.
And those three qualities about you, it's growth potential without any
Yeah.
limits.
Yeah.
And that's just one thing you got to remember about you at all times.
Hmm. Hmm. And I appreciate you saying that, Yusuf, because you know I actually do remember a time when um not just you but other brothers in the group have pointed
Mm-hmm.
out to me certain gifts that I have. And,
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
you know, saying those things really meant a lot. It really, like, because I never spotted those gifts in me. To be honest, I always felt like I didn't really have any special gifts or talents that God has given me. I felt that way about myself.
The
Um,
nerve.
Mm.
yeah,
Forgive him, Lord. Forgive him.
yeah, and
It's affirmation for your identity.
it was,
Mm-hmm.
it was, and once they spotted that out in me, I really reflected on that, and I really started to like just
Embrace it.
embrace it. Yeah, embrace it,
Yeah.
and really try to connect the dots to where I can to why God gave me this certain talent or gave me this certain gift and what I can use it for. And so yeah, I like that's why this group has meant so much to me, because a lot of the brothers in the group have really helped me to, like you said, Michelle, find my identity in Christ.
Mm.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, Wesley, I want to thank you so much for sharing your story. Once again, for being vulnerable and being transparent,
Mm,
and
Yeah.
just being who you are, man. I really appreciate it. And
yes. Yeah.
I apologize for not giving you the flashy intro. I'll make sure I do it in the
Nah,
on the intro of the video when the podcast loads up.
it's all good.
But thank you again for that, man. I really do appreciate it.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, it was an honor.
It was good to be able to just tell a summary of my testimony and how I came to
Yeah.
Christ.
And the good thing is it's still growing. Your testimony is still growing because you're so different now than when I first met you. So you've got a lot more going on for you now in your walk. So your
I
testimony is
can't
going to
wait
change
to
once
hear your
again.
10-year testimony. Like,
For real.
the change in 10 years.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
real. No pressure, but make sure it happens.
No,
You see how I slickly inserted myself into your life in the next 10 years?
For the next 10 years. Stalker implications.
When you see good people, you want to stay in community with them.
Yeah,
yeah,
you do.
yeah.
That's how it's supposed to work. That's how it's
Mhm,
supposed to work.
mhm.
Well, I want to thank you all for listening to the show once again, our audience, and we want to say thank you again for just being a part of Baptized and Clueless. Michelle, Wesley, thanks for your time again. Y'all stay blessed.
Yes.
Bless.